Is it going live? Don't seem to do. Oh, yes, we are. So I guess I'm already live here. So let's get some Star Trek going. That's needed to do this kind of thing. And hopefully you can hear me and so on. So what am I doing now? I have worked some on those controls. So I talked about yesterday, and I guess I have a bit more. It's still a bit crazy around the legs, but anyhow, I've been doing some work to get the coat thingy to follow the legs a bit better. So now I have made also a lot of controls. I have hooked a couple of them up. I guess the eyes are in place, yeah. So you can see the eyes are having constraints, target constraints set up. Let's see if I can find it. We take an eye and look at the constraints. So we have tracked 2 constraints to this target, and the eyes are parented to this head bone basically. So it's a bit strange because I'm thinking that I might need a jaw bone, but the weights for it is not done. I mean, you have the whole thing. Oh, this is scary. It's creepy. Anyhow, you need to kind of go in and be quite thorough in the painting for the jawbone and the head bone to make that work. The biggest problem now is that you can't really use the head bone in this setup. So, but anyhow, what I want to do today and right now is to make use of these controls. So I've started by actually making one of these controls. So as you can see, this bone doesn't exist any longer here because this is the actual bone, and you can see it down here that we're using the shape for that. So that's what I will be doing. I will take this one for example and use this custom shape for it. It's called master control shape, and the bone is called master control. The reason being that the hips, the feet, and I guess the eye control is parented to this, so you can take the whole thing and move it around with this master control. So let's start with that one. What I will do is to use a custom shape, and what did I call it? Master something? Master control shape. Boom. And as you saw, it went away, and that's because you need to add wireframe to it, because it's a wireframe shape if you want. And you can also see that when I do this, you get a bit of a funky thing happening. It turns around, and I'm using this script to handle this. What happens is when I push this, you see the control shape goes into this shape, and what I can do now is that now they are aligned to each other. I can go into edit mode for this shape, rotate it on the Z axis 180, and there we go. And now I actually don't need this anymore. So I could just delete it, and this is now the master control bone with the custom shape. That's kind of what I will be doing for all the shapes. Might be a bit boring to watch, but that's what I'm offering today, and I still have a couple of controls to do. I haven't done the right arm. I guess I could take these and mirror them. I also have not done controls for, I don't know, the hands or fingers. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. I might want one hand control with a copper rotation for each of these, so that you could rotate them uniformly with one control, so to speak, or something like that. But you also might want to like have something like these controls for each finger and each joint in the finger, so that you can control them more. I'm not sure. I haven't done the knees or any shapes for the knees, and I'm not really sure what to do with them. I guess I could go with something simple, but otherwise these are just basically modified circles. So this kind of circle, so they're just modified a bit. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's take this one, and I see this is foot shape right, foot shape right, and we'll take this one, say foot shape right, bam, something happened, I guess, turn on wireframe, and use custom orientation. The thing is that this control shape is going up to mirror this one, and then when I move the control shape, they are in the same space basically. So I copy it? No, I copied my hashtags. What did I call it? I call it foot control foot shape right. Yeah, I already have it. We have it here, and you need to do this in edit mode. And what do I want to do? I want to rotate it around the z-axis 90 degrees. I want to rotate it around the x-axis now 90 degrees. And let's just see if that did it. Yes, and we want to scale it in the x to make it a bit smaller. We also want to push it down in the C to let's see, something like that, and we want to it's not all that important actually. This is mainly just to make it look pretty, I don't know, and to more easily find your control, so something like that. And let's just delete it, and we have our foot control, and you see what's happening with the leg over here. I have a hard time to find to find the correct weight painting for this lab coat thingy. I will not try that today right now, because I think it's a better idea that I sit down at a later point and try to do that. And I guess that this one is the hips, so this is my hip bone, And one of the reasons I do this is to get this kind of let's see why perhaps this kind of thingy where you can do a bit of a hula thing as my inspiration, I guess is a correct word, called it and the thing is that this bone does not inherit rotation, and since this whatever you can get this thing and you can still have use this bone. I think it feels more natural, but anyhow this bone is going to make use of hips shape. So this bone will make use of hips shape. Oh yes, it will be a wireframe and it is crazy, of course. Then let's take this one, and to get this to align, I guess what I will want to do is rotate it around the y-axis 90 and then around the z-axis 90. But first of all, let's take this bone and orient custom shape, and then we need to take the hips shape. There we have it. And we need to, what did I say? I wanted to rotate it y90, and I wanted to why isn't it following now? I know, because as I said, I need to be in edit mode and select all. Let's just see what happens here. Rotate y90, rotate z my -90, and do I need to scale this? Yeah, I need to scale it up a bit to make it useful, and I'm happy with that, so I'll delete it. We are going to move on with this lower back or first spine thingy, and I believe that I might have called it something like spine. No, then perhaps I have called it lower back shape. There we go, wireframe, and orient it. There we go, and then I guess I find it here as lawyer, perhaps lower back shape. There we go. Let's take this one into edit mode, select everything, rotate it around the x-axis some -90, and now we also want to move it up, and we want to scale it down, something like that, I guess. Let's see what happens if I make use of it. It looks like it's working, and this will do nothing, of course, but it will be I will be able to delete it now, and then I would be surprised if this is not the upper back shape. Wireframe, orient, let's go to upper back shape, select it, go to edit mode, important, select everything, rotate 90 on the x, -90, and I think I'm happy with the size of that. Maybe I should take it down just a bit, something let's delete it. So now the bones are starting to look. That's kind of a problem with the coat thingy. As you can see, it is influencing a lot on the coat and maybe a bit too much over here, but whatever. But it doesn't really do anything for the legs. So what is happening is that it pulls the coat to the sides, which is, I kind of like that, and I think that I kind of need that. But since they are so tight, oops, I reset the rotation there. Since they are so tight between the legs and the coat, you can see you can barely see any air between them. It of course will go through pretty soon. So I mean, one thing I was talking about yesterday is that I could take away at least this much of the legs, perhaps even more, because you will not see that, and then just scale them in a bit to just ease in the legs. Whereas as you see, it has a lot to work with here, but nothing at all to work with here. And as a what's the word? What's the proper word in English? What's a non-naughty word? Bum? Rump? I don't know. Something like that. And I think that I want to rotate these up a bit. Push them there, something. Yeah, so there's some problems there. One solution, or one thing I will do, is that I will probably take away a bit of the legs over this area. That seems reasonable to do without too much work, I hope. And another thing that I might want to do is to work more on the weights, of course. These are not super aligned. That's good enough. Yes, I could take this up just a bit. So I have done the upper back. I think I will save the arms, because I mean, this is not going to be a very interesting stream to watch anyhow, since I'm just doing the same thing over and over. But again, that's kind of the point here, that is what I am doing. I am developing. So if you are not interested in looking at me working, then I would suggest that you find a better way to spend your time. That's just my opinion. Shoulder shape right. So let's take this one and let's find that shoulder shape right. Bam. Okay, that's the idea. This one will be more difficult, because this one will move out here and I need to reposition it. Let's go. It's just to do it. Let's see, so I want to rotate it around the X a bit and rotate it around the Z a bit. I want to push it back. I guess that would work. I mean, it's not all that important. Let's look at it from the back and take it down from the front. Maybe I'm happy with that. I don't know. Maybe we should turn off the it is the armature's X-ray, I guess. Let's not delete it just yet, because I want to look at the armature without X-rays. I can see how much this actually pushes down into the model. Yeah, I can see that works. Let's get the right back, and I think I like this. So let's take this and delete it. Did I delete it? Yes, I did. So you have the shoulder here, and it's also influencing a lot up here, which I'm not happy with. So there's some weight painting to do here as well, because it shouldn't pull the color that much. So what is this one then? Circle, that's the circle, but it should be named, yes, whatever, let's name it. Oh, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to use it for very long anyhow. Go back to the bone, find the shoulder shape right, turn on wireframe, oriented. Oh, did I do that wrong? Why is that not orienting? Let's see if I can go back here. I have something selected, is that it? We get any error? No error, nothing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here. Is it something wrong with this? Did I destroy it by naming it? Let's go back till when I did name it. I talked about that. Okay, so that does actually. That's strange. I don't know why it had a different name here. Anyhow, let's try it again then. Custom shape. Shoulder. I probably did something wrong. Of course, I was talking. And we don't get the orientation for it. Am I getting too tired? Could that be the problem here? So this is this. Let's look at something else. That's a head shape. That's a shoulder shape. I can't see what is wrong here. So let's take the head first, since I can't figure that out right now. Let's try something else and go back. Head shape. Boom. There we go. Oriented. That worked. There is something strange going on with those. However, it is not pretty. It doesn't have to be, but it's more fun to work if it is. That's one of my problems. I always feel like my models aren't that pretty, and then I don't want to work with them. So hopefully you are all making more pretty stuff that you are happy with. Let's see, we could do something like that. We could take this and let's add some influence so that we get some more curved shape. I don't know, something that looks more facey. I don't know, just to make it follow the shape a bit and make me feel more confident, I don't know. Let's scale those in a bit. Let's take these two, scale them in a bit, and let's lessen the influence. Did we get something like that? I don't know. This is so unneeded. This is that kind of work which you shouldn't really be doing, because you could spend your time actually doing something worth your while. So let's delete it now. That's done. Oh my god. Does it work like that? Yeah, of course it does. So you can of course scale your bones. And the jaw bone, I guess we could do that as well, and that would be the jaw shape. Let's do that. Jaw shape and wireframe it. That sucked, but what do you do? Jaw shape. I usually use this naming convention. I use lowercase letter. I use dots between the. No, why aren't you following? I know. I use lowercase dots and lowercase. Oh my god, I can't do two things. That's my problem here. So let's see if we can make something more fun out of this. Something like a paddle thingy. That will work nicely. So yeah, that's something. Let's just keep it like that. That's okay. Out of edit mode, delete it and try it maybe. Yeah, that's nice. Let's see how it looks. I would just like to kind of figure out if I could. I had yeah, maybe I could make use of that to get some of the effect. One of the problems I had when I worked is that I worked not like this, but like this while sculpting, making my that is perspective or orthographic, and I worked orthographic in orthographic view while I did the modeling and the sculpting for the high poly version. So this is how he was supposed to look. I mean, this is kind of what I was going for, and what I was kind of happy with. And then I realized, oh my god, this is not in perspective. So how will that look? And it thinned out the cheek quite a bit, and so on. But I'm coming to terms with it. He's a bit edgy around the eyes and so on. But I'm dealing with that pain right now, and I'm not that dissatisfied. It makes for a quite good normal map. At least I'm quite happy with this retopology and so on. I'm getting not great, but I'm getting results that makes me feel okay with it, and that's kind of all I could ever ask for. I will probably want something to handle the neck, because a lot of the head bob and stuff like this is going to come from the neck. because I have some skinning is working kind of nicely, and I think, but then again, once I have done the painting for that one, I will perhaps not. I guess I will be using the head bone for that, so I don't really need a jawbone all that much. I'm more happy with how this, oops, how this is working for me. Yeah, I would like to make use of that. Yep. Another thing that I've done, I guess, is that I have no inherent rotation for the head, which means that basically the head will try to orient like balancing, and I guess that's how the body will work when you like do this. You don't really tend to follow that much with the head, so that's something. Let's see if we can figure out this last one. I mean, what I could do if I still had the shape, I deleted them all now. Still have them here, I guess. So let's do this. Let's start over. Let's take this one and just delete it and borrow one of these, because that's what I did the first time. If I can find one. Shape. Come on. I want the shape, not the armature. There we go. Duplicate it, and let's take that one and drive it all the way up there. And I guess I don't really care how it's oriented at the moment. I just want it in the somewhat correct place. Let's rename this to shoulder dot shape left. And I was going to say that I am notorious with my naming conventions. I'm a programmer. Actually, I've been working with programming for the latest, I don't know, almost 20 years, I guess. In games and in other kind of industries. And that have made me notorious in how I want to name things. Shoulder, and I like this dot notation. I would kind of guess that it comes from writing a lot of dots in code. But I think that works pretty well. I also usually mainly make use of lowercase letters because I think it's just too difficult on the eyes to read camel kind of notation. Whatever it is called, I can't remember right now. So let's see if you can find that shoulder shape left. Still have the shoulder shape right. Which one is that? I don't know. Let's take this one. Maybe. Yeah, I could orient it now. So let's rotate it on the X 90 No, not that one. Not that one. This one in edit mode with everything selected rotates 90 degrees on the X-axis. And I could move it up and I can move it to the side. Could even rotate it a bit out on which axis is that? Is that Y? Yeah, it is Y. Let's see. Z is that one, X is that one, so it should be Y, but I don't want it that strong. I want it something like that. Scale it down a bit, scale it in the C a bit, push it down a little bit, and scale it in the X to widen it a bit to make them more similar at least. I don't care all that much, but this will probably be sufficient. So then I should be able to use this one in pose mode as well. Yep. So I'll save these arms and things because I haven't copied them and everything, and I don't intend to be awake for much longer because I need to get up tomorrow, taking the kids to kindergarten and going to visit the hospital and my youngest, and then picking up kids and cooking dinner and putting kids to sleep, and then maybe do some more work. Who knows? I wish I had made this a bit bigger, but that's okay. That's not a problem. What we will have is that we will have something along the lines of this, and it's still fairly easy to select. It's not a big problem. Oh, I actually wanted to do these ones as well while I'm at it, roll controllers, because I haven't done them. So let's see if I can orient. I have set the numpad period key to one of these buttons, so I can, because I like to focus on what I'm working on. So let's see, this is named roll shape left. That's fine. Roll shape left, and I'm a searcher. I love this kind of thing is where I can quickly type in what I'm looking for. I don't have the patience to search for things in a list. I'm a slow reader, and I just don't like that. Foot shape left, I guess. Let's see what happens. Oh my god, that's not the correct one. It's called roll shape left. There we go. And then it's of course all over the place. And we should then have foot roll control left. Why do I have so many of them? Because that's not the one. It's called roll shape left. There we go. And then I have only one, and that looks nice. So is that the shape? Oh yes, it is, because this is a bone and it needs to be oriented, or rather it needs to force it this way. Haven't found a good way to make these controls. There's probably better ways to do it. Would love to know them though, if you have any tips to speed up this process a bit. Rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees. Let's scale that in a bit. Let's take these, and let's make sure we have proportional editing, because it will basically make more of the vertices influenced. Let's take all of these, move them up, move them back a bit so that I can actually grab them later on, scale it down a bit, move it a bit. Yeah, I guess that might just work. That might work. Ah, that works. That works. I mean, I could just use these bones. It's not all that disturbing, but while I'm doing the controls, I kind of like to do it all the way so I can hide away the armature. Roll shape. I still have that roll shape left. I don't get it. Right, I guess we want this time wireframe orient. Find it. Right, there we go. Select all, rotate 90 degrees on the x-axis, push it down, take these ones in a bit, something like that, I don't know, perhaps scale it a bit smaller still, scale it up a bit, push it back a bit, and is that what I'm looking for? I guess it could be. It feels a bit big. Let's scale it and see. Make it fit the other one a bit better. Just a little bit. Let's delete that one so that we have the roll controls. Ah, that will work. I have this nice toe roll. I love that. I don't know. I just think it's so cool. It's so cool. And you can roll up on the toe. So yeah, what I'm left doing now, I guess, is to create controls for these guys and for the arms, figure out what I want to do with the hands and fingers, and then I have some work to do with weight painting, because this is not working. It's not working for me. You need to have the jaw and not the rest of the face, because now it's influencing up here-ish, so that's not okay. It should have a nice influence on the jaw and nothing else. So I leave the arm, I leave the fingers, I leave the rest basically. So I think that will be it for today, because I really need to go to bed now. So let's just look at this beautiful mirror effect thingy. I'm so in love with that. I will probably do something like this again, because I feel that I'm getting some stuff done and it makes me feel calm. Now I have to stop this and rewind my Star Trek episode, because I have no idea what they did, but it's soothing. It's soothing. So take care.